Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 113 of CoCreative NoCode's Office Hours. I'm your host, Tonya. We're here with members. Let's see here. We've got Thomas, Brittany, Jay, Calum, and Justin and Pablo are here with me as well, and then my Kim. And we're going to get started in a moment, but if this is your first time tuning into Office Hours, we do this every day of the week, Monday through Friday, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And what Office Hours is we offer our members access to this Zoom, which we broadcast live on Facebook and syndicate on YouTube. And our members can ask us any questions related to Bubble that they want. So they can bring us Bubble bugs, feature requests, any topic on Bubble is welcome. We don't promise answers. We promise you won't suffer alone, but it's great fun. So we'll get started in just a moment. But first, if you want to join us for a complimentary session, you can go ahead and email us at team@CoCreativeNoCode.com, and we'll get you some credentials so you can hop on into Zoom and meet everyone for just see what it's all about. So I'm going to go ahead and start and welcome Justin and Pablo for the first time to Office Hours. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, so we have this huge announcement. So without any delay, I want to announce that CoCreative NoCode, which is has been me, is joining forces with Justin and Pablo, and we're going to be rebranding. Should we tell them the new name?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already got the domain, so it's Pro No Code. So we're turning into Pro No Code, and we're going to start offering some more advanced help and more accessible help for bubblers. And we're super excited. Justin, you want to talk about it a little bit?
For sure. Maybe we should introduce ourselves a little bit here.
Sure. Yeah. Who are you, Justin?
So I'm this guy. Now, I am a Bubble developer. I've been developing on Bubble for about 6 years now. And it's always been a hobby of mine. And I decided to take it full time earlier this year during the pandemic and all of that craziness. And I've been working with AirDev for the last 6-7 months or so as a project manager and a developer. And so been really fun doing that. And I just noticed that there was a void in the community when it came to getting answers to your questions quickly. I felt like every single time I had a question, I would go to ask and I'd have to wait hours or days or weeks before I would get an answer. And if it was to the Bubble forum, then I would usually get no answer, at least an answer that I couldn't use. Yep. And so, yeah, I felt like this was definitely something that we could improve upon. And so that's what we're setting out to do.
Well, this is exciting because right there alone, you have 7 times the amount of experience brought to Office Hours, because I've been bubbling for a year. So
awesome.
Yeah. And what about you, Pablo? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah. So first of all, I am a huge fan of Tonya and the CoCreative NoCode of Office Hours. And I've also been babbling for about a year. I was a developer before that and a data analyst, and I work at AirDev, same as Tonya and Justin. And apart from being a freelance web developer, I am also an instructor in the Bubble Crash Course. So I have like my courses where I have over 150 students, and I've been getting a lot of questions these past months and helping out people. And I love it. And I think it's like something that makes me learn a lot of Bubble. At the same time, helps me teach other people how to create their own apps. So a few months ago, I decided to go full time, same as Justin, and just focus on Bubble and nothing else. And I'm happier than before. I'm actually really happy. So it's a good sign, and I want to keep doing it and for as long as I can.
Perfect. Awesome. Yes. Well, I have been just over the moon for the last 24 hours since Justin and I were like, are we going to do this? And talking to Pablo. So super excited to have both of you here. Yeah, so we'll be making announcements and changes, and you'll slowly start to see some massive changes as we rebrand and we offer different membership levels. And you can start getting access to really like high quality responses to all of your bubble questions, and know that you're going to get a response, and at least have a deadline by which you know you're going to get a response. So we'll be making those announcements and offering that up via CoCreative NoCode to start, and then eventually it'll turn into pronocode.com. So yay.
Was CoCreative Pro NoCode too long?
Yeah, CoCreative Pro NoCode was too long, so we're just going to shorten it to pronocode.com. Although we have to talk to Siri, because Siri apparently hears promo code instead of pro no code.
You should be offering promo codes for your prono code.
Yes, promo codes for pro no code. Awesome. Well, let's get started to the heart of office hours now, because I'm sure we've got some questions from the audience. The first person to arrive today was Thomas. Thomas, do you have anything?
I think I do, but I think I should just work through it. So I'll just pass it on to the next.
You're gonna suffer alone?
I should just look at it before
Okay.
I take the easy way out. Yeah.
Don't suffer too much.
No, I promise. I'll come back
Okay.
to it.
All right, awesome. And then Jay?
Oh
I was gonna tell you about the scraping tool I just
yeah,
bought
do
from
that.
AppSumo. So I just found a no-code scraping tool that I haven't tried yet. I have an onboarding call on Friday evening to learn all about it, but it's called CheatLayer. Yeah, and it's GPT-3 powered, so you can actually like use natural language to code JavaScript for scraping. And it has some pretty amazing reviews, like all five tacos is what they call them. So yeah, going through here. And so, and it basically, their promise is that you can turn any website into its own API. And then you can use their natural scripting language to write the script to scrape whatever you want from that site.
So when we say turn any site into an API, I mean, they're talking about you turning your own site into it and pushing out or allowing your data to get pushed other places or pulled other places. Do you think?
I think mostly it's about like going to the site and getting the information that you want, like macros, right? So that you don't have to go and click the buttons and things like that. And you can just pull in the data that you want. But I think it's interesting. I am going to watch the videos and stuff. I bought one of these to start. So I'll try it out and I can give you a review next week.
That would be great. We are struggling. I wouldn't say struggling, but we are definitely highly irritated at all times, me and my assistant, by what we're pulling. We're scraping, I guess we're up to our third site, and they're all so different, getting the data. It's the same data we need from all of them. And it's in there somewhere, or most of it is, but getting it to show up in our spreadsheets is not great. And then the other thing is like, I don't have a problem sitting down and powering through a million CheatLayer videos and blog posts and forums, but I don't think I can get my VA to do that.
No,
I don't think she want to do that.
That sounds very painful to me.
It does sound painful. And you mentioned like having to write, you said is it natural language or is it JavaScript that you have to write?
So you're using GPT-3. So you enter natural language and then it turns it into JavaScript for you, is what I understand.
I'm definitely interested in trying it. I'm on their pricing page. It's $50 a month or an incredible $99 for a lifetime. But that only has 50 machine learning credits per month, whatever that means.
That basically means 50 scripts that you're writing.
Well, I mean, that would be enough.
That's probably enough. If you wanted to white label it and then sell scripts to your own customers, you have to buy 10 of these deals.
Yeah,
So
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Thanks for thinking of me when you saw this. I'm definitely going to be digging into it. Well, at this point, we're kind of have this Frankenstein thing going. We're like, for one of the catalogs we're trying to scrape, we are gonna use we're gonna use Simple Scraper to just get the URLs. Because Simple Scraper isn't great for the rest of it that we need. But then when we have the list of URLs, we're going to feed that into Octoparse, and then Octoparse can go scrape those pages.
Gotcha.
At this point, we've got like a Rube Goldberg machine going. I don't like that. You know, I want it to be smooth and simple. And we don't need to do it over and over. We just need to do it, you know, for now.
The
once.
initial, the
Yeah.
initial time. Yep. Awesome. Did you have a question? I can stop sharing if you want.
Do I have a question? I think I have a general question. I don't think I need to screen share.
Okay.
So I've got, I wanted my people to get reminders. So, so what I'm building is, give me just a second. Justin and Pablo, I'm working on an app for gardeners. It's a community app and it's a management
Actually,
app.
can you share so they
Yeah,
can
be
see?
happy to. That's not it. This is just my little utility for myself. This is the site. And you can, I don't think I'm running as anybody right now. Oops. You can do things like see what you have in your flower. Like, you know, some people grow flowers like the way other people grow vegetables, cutting gardens. Other people grow vegetables. Some people grow both. You got your trees and your shrubs and your lawn, you know, when you're landscaping, and you've got all these things. So this does things like help you keep track of what you own. Here's what I have in my cutting garden. It'll, oops, I'm not logged in as me. Oh, I changed my login. I'm sorry. So I would see little icons showing, I just made some changes and they're not working, obviously. You should be seeing icons here that show all the colors of your garden. Let me run as a user that has data.
We have watched this app from scratch on office hours.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
I love your design. That's
Thank
so
you.
Cartoony. It's very like consistent too.
She even has
Oh,
games that you can
Here's
play.
game.
Oh, really? Awesome.
So you can do things like keep track of what you have. You can add as you harvest, you can keep track of what you've collected. Later, this will be tied to each plant in each bed. You can see what you own. So these are things that belong to this user. And then this might not be working at the moment. I'm not sure. But yeah, these are things I don't have. So I could search and filter. I want blue things that bloom in May that are a foot high. And I would be able to grab that. So this is what I'm scraping. These are catalog images from a particular vendor because I don't have these. If I'm looking here, what these will be, they're not yet, is pictures that the user has put up in their account. This is my garden. So there's all these other things they can keep track of. And the part that I haven't built out yet, that I want to build out next, is the trees and shrubs. So what I want people to be able to do, I've got a couple problems with just things I don't know how to do yet, haven't figured it out. Right now, this just shows me there's nothing in this user's stuff. I've been messing with it. So this should say weeping cedar and this should say hydrangea or whatever. And they can just see how many they have and which bed in their garden they have it in. So that's basically that. But what I want is for someone who has a hydrangea and it's a certain type of hydrangea, then it needs to get pruned after it blooms or before first frost, whatever the rule is. There's rules. So I know their first frost date and their last frost date because they're going to be giving me their growing zone. But I'm not sure how to put in what I need to about how to, the actual details, like, 6 weeks after last frost, do this. And I also am not clear in my mind about how to send them that information. So I want this is designed to work on mobile as well as a screen. It's supposed to be mobile oriented, if not mobile first. So I don't really understand how to deal with the notifications.
Got it.
Like, do I need OneSignal? And if I do, can I do OneSignal one-to-one, or is it only one-to-many? I need them to be somewhat individualized.
So OneSignal, I've used OneSignal before. Pablo, have you done OneSignal?
No, I've used it in WordPress actually, but not in Bubble.
OneSignal would work well for this. It is individualized, so you can send specific users specific messages. That's not a problem. So you want phone notifications? Do you think most people will be using this on a phone?
I think most people are using everything on a phone now. It isn't productivity.
Well, and you're talking about after you wrap it, right?
No.
Okay, because OneSignal, to get the OneSignal notifications on the phone, it has to be wrapped. Because it won't work. It won't work. It'll work on a desktop browser, but it won't work in a mobile browser, at least as.
If you're doing it on without wrapping it, you can just use the inbuilt browser notifications.
And then emails. Yeah.
I wonder if it would be better then to hook it up to Twilio and have it send text.
Text would be, text is better. I think text is better than even native notifications in terms of grabbing attention, right? So send a link in text and they click it and it opens up the browser, takes them exactly where they need to go. And you could log them in without having them to change pages if you wanted. So.
That might be the way to go then. So then I'd have to do, go ahead.
But the principle is the same. So essentially, you're already doing what you want to do with other types, right? Since you're already showing what is in somebody's bed, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So what I would do is I would make sure you're not being too redundant with different data types trying to do the same thing. Right. So I make that data type, like whether it's a vegetable, a flower, or a tree or shrub, it's still a plant.
It's all in one data type.
Right. And then these are just different filters that you have on the data type. And then,
yeah, basically, yeah.
And then what you can do is, since you know their growing zone, when you create that my plant, because I think you call it my plant as opposed to
all plants in this case.
It is. Okay.
Well, I don't know. So it has to be, so I've got all plants and this is the plant, like how tall it gets, how it's stuff about the plant.
Right.
But then I've got my plant, stuff about my plant. And that would have like my zone, how much I paid for it, where I put it.
Yeah, so the my plant is going to have their zone added to it, and then that's what's going to help you set the date, right? Because that zone is going to give the reference in terms of the first and last frost and that sort of thing. So then, as you're creating the my plant, you would schedule API workflows to send the notification based on the dates coming from their growing zone.
I would do that in the back end.
Yeah, you would schedule the API from the workflows on the page, and then you would do a backend workflow to send the notification. But the schedule is going to come from the front end. The schedule is going to come from when you create it. You're going to compare their growing zone to the plant's requirements, and you'll make the formula to schedule when to send out that notification.
Okay, I'm going to start building that out, and when I get to the backend workflow, I'm going to come back to you because having those, the dates, messing around with dates is just, really don't enjoy that at all. I don't think
we've been there.
Awesome. So the only other things that I'm focusing on, and again, it's not about a screenshot or anything. It's about the overall, As you know, I've been looking into search because this, the flower finder I just showed you a minute ago, it's just filters and it doesn't work great. Because if there's an empty field in the data type, then no display happens. The repeating group shows nothing. So I'm having to put in bad data. Like if I don't have plants maximum height, I just have to put in 0 or something, or 100. It just makes no sense. And I don't like that. So I'm looking for a better search. We've looked into MeiliSearch. Have any of you guys used that?
Have either of you used MeiliSearch or heard of it?
No.
No.
It's an open source alternative to Algolia.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Nice.
It looks really good, except that I'm a little stuck with what to do next. I've got the AWS set up. I've got the server set up on AWS, but I'm not clear on how to scrape my own site. And so I'm looking for just the easiest, least friction way. I reached out to ZeroCode about their Algolia plugin, and they said, yeah, it works no matter what your plan is. Has anyone used the Algolia plugin from ZeroCode?
I've used the bubble integration with Algolia, but not the ZeroCode Algolia plugin.
Okay.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Is there a reason why you don't want to use the bubble method?
Yeah, because you have to be on the next level plan, which is $100 a month more than my plan.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why. Okay.
Yeah, we could try it though. We can install, I think I did the other day, right?
Yeah, we
Installed
started to, but then we weren't clear on whether it was worth it because we didn't know if it would work.
But now we do know that it's worth it.
Now we do.
All right, so did I make a page for it or no? No, I think I stopped at, I needed to create an Algolia account because I have the plugin now. This one, is this the 0? Yeah. So I have the plugin, so now I need to create an Algolia account. Let's not use this one that's showing to the whole world. Oh, what is it? It's September. Sandbox 2021.
How was it September already?
It's like 2/3 of the way through September.
Also, I don't answer my phone, so call away, people, call away. All right, I've got to go check my team CoCreate. I'm going to stop sharing for that part. See, I'm getting better at this.
We all know what your passwords are anyway. Password.
Well, you could try that. It won't work because I'm actually very vigilant about my passwords. The only time I'm not is when I'm on the agency plan and it's just blocking the test version, right? Okay, so I can share again. I'm new to Algolia, so I'm going to go through this process.
Did we ever find out? So can you run Algolia on any bubble plan, or is it? I could have thought it used to be you have.
So you can't use Bubble's native integration with Algolia unless you're on the professional plan, but you can use Algolia with the ZeroCode plugin on the personal plan.
So Bubble actually let them publish a plugin that bypassed their paywall.
I think ZeroCode's plugin was probably there first.
Okay.
Yeah, and they don't want to discourage people from creating plugins. So
makes sense.
yeah. All right, create a new index. An index stores the data that you want to make searchable in Algolia. All right, we're going to do tally. Indices, and the next, add data to your index.
Did you go straight from new to Algolia to experienced user and when you went through their onboarding?
No, I did not go to experienced user because I am most certainly not an experienced Algolia user. This is the first time I've ever been logged into Algolia. So
This is Tonya though, give her 5 minutes and she'll be expert in it.
Yeah.
I feel like I
Give me
missed a step. We're using Algolia to improve speed, the search speed, or to do what precisely?
To search the site, I've got my data types are all, I don't know what the word is, but like in my all plants, I've got like, in my plants one, I've got like a field called plant and the type is all plants and everything is connected to each other. So when I go to do a search, like a filtered search or even a fuzzy search, it only will get to the stuff that's in that particular data type that I'm doing the search in, which ends up cutting out the name, you know, like all kinds of stuff I can't get to. So I want faster search, more flexible search, and I want the search to hit many data types at once.
In my experience, I don't know what your experience is, but Algolia is less flexible than Bubble. You kind of have to have a lot of text fields in order, and your own. I'm not sure how the zero code plugin works, but with like the regular Bubble integration, you can only search one field at a time. You can't filter by multiple things. So maybe the answer would be just a more robust data structure in your Bubble app with more linking. So if you need to access the name in multiple places on different data types, maybe it would just be linking those data types. Oh, you said you're not on the production plan, so you wouldn't have access to the when data changes on the back end, hey? Okay. Pablo, when you worked on Wax Nation, which had similar things going on, did you run into this at all, where you had to put multiple fields?
That's what I'm thinking. I created like a search index, which was like a particular data type just for the searches. And whenever the data changed, there was a database trigger in the backend workflows, and I would update the search index. And that was, yeah, I was looking for it right now so that we can share like how we did it, because that might be an easier solution.
Yeah, that could be. I started to go that direction. I've got a data type called searchables, which is just a whole bunch of text that's repeated, you know, replicated from other data types in text format. And I could certainly populate that and build that into my workflows.
So are we continuing with Algolia, or am I stopping here?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
With
Let's continue exploring it until I find.
Okay, I'll keep going then. Does anybody know what this is? The Algolia API key shared headers, is it the same as this?
X.
Sometimes we have to repeat things.
Are you in the test?
I watched a tutorial on it,
Yeah.
and he put that in every one of them. Everyone, you know, it was every type of key. It was in there like a lot of times. So
Okay. Got it. Okay, so I think that's okay. So now we have to Algolia update object, delete object. Algolia search, Algolia search. So this is the part that I don't know with the zero code plugin. How do we get the information into Algolia in the first place? Because with the Bubble native, it comes like once you activate it and you have everything in there, then it's simply like you index it from, I think from privacy rules is what I saw in one of the apps that I was managing.
Yeah, you have to create an index for it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the zero code plugin. I mean, the zero code, the documentation is usually pretty robust.
Yeah, we should go and check it out.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't have.
Clickable links. I know, isn't that the worst?
With MeiliSearch, or however it's pronounced, you upload, you tell it what to scrape by putting a unique identifier in every data type that you want to scrape, and that goes into a collection. So it looks like that with that product, you can search multiple data types from one search input.
Maybe, is there like a specific example of a time where you're trying to search with something that's embedded in another search that you can't access the data that you want to?
I can stop sharing, Jay, if you want to share.
Okay. So I'd hidden a number of things on this page because of the problem. So instead of solving it, I just, it'll get fixed later.
You
But
hid it under the bed?
Yeah, right. Put it under a cat somewhere. So there should be another one here, like at the top for zones, but that's in the user data type. So it's not here. There should be one for, there's several others that just aren't working because the data isn't complete. So germination minimum, like how many days to germinate, I just hit it because if it doesn't have a number, then it doesn't return anything. And this ends up being a blank area. So if I search for something, like I can't search by zone 7.
Oh, you want to be able to search there.
Well, I'd
for
like to
zone
be
7.
able to filter and search. I'd like to be able to filter, by things like color, but also what if I want to find, I don't want people having to see stuff that won't grow in their area. So originally I was trying to set this up so it automatically filtered out everything that wasn't in their zone or an adjacent zone. And that was okay. But what if you want to buy your mom a present, or you know what I mean? Like you don't want to be limited. So you got to be able to change that. And then that caused a ton of problems.
So where is the zone type hidden on? Is it on the flower?
No, it's just a, it's
on the
just
user, right?
on the page.
Oh, sorry. I mean, in the database, where is the zone type?
Oh, it's in
attached?
user. It's in user.
That's the user zone, right? But is there a
Yes.
zone for the plants? Each plant
Oh
has
yeah,
its own
and
zone?
that's in all plants.
Okay, so there's a zone there. So you have a list of texts. Oh, because it can be multiple zones, right?
Right.
What you can do is you can create a new field in there. Like if you want specifically for them to be able to search for a new field, you can create a new field that's, I guess what you're saying, that searchables. And it's just a text, and it's just a really long text of everything that they could search for.
And that would go in this data type, not in its own. This data, it would go in here as opposed to being its own thing.
Correct.
I can share my screen if you want, and I'll
Yes.
show what we set up
Yes.
in the vaccination app. So, okay, I think I'm showing now, right? Yeah, I am. Okay, so we have a repeating group in this page, and wait, I'm gonna hide this first. Okay, so it's basically a repeating group that is showing a list of products, and we want to filter by a lot of things. And so I'm gonna show you here, give me a sec, how I'm doing the search. First of all, in repeating group products, first I have the normal search, just filtering by category, year, and manufacturer. But then once I type something in a search box that I have, which is actually an input, I change the search, and I also make sure that the search index, which is the field that you're going to be adding in your database, contains the keywords that appear in this input search box. Okay.
Mhm.
And this search index, let's just go here. I'll show you how it looks. I think we might be able to see it in this one. Yeah. So for each product, it has just like the product series, the box type, and then the manufacturer. but it could have like whatever you wanted, you know, like it could have something from another data type if you wanted. And I put it all in lowercase so that then I can change the input, whatever the user types in the input, to lowercase as well, and just use the contains keywords function. And the way I am updating this search index whenever there is a change or a product is created is by going to the backend workflows here. And then I do two things. First of all, I have a database trigger, which activates whenever a product is created. So I have basically product now. Do you know how that database triggers work?
Yeah, I've used them a little. I wouldn't say I'm fluent, but I've tried them.
Okay, so basically the only condition that I add is that product before change, which is, I mean, I have two options here because I select the type of trigger to be product. So it says product before change or product now. And what I do is if product before change is empty and product now is not empty, then that means that a product has been created. And when a product is created, I basically update the search index field so that it's this product series lowercase, the product box type lowercase, the manufacturer lowercase, etc., etc. And then I set the slash, but that's unrelated to this. And here I have something else, which is an API workflow that basically update the search index whenever something happens in our app. Okay, so this I call it when I make a manual change from the admin panel, for example. So I make sure that whenever someone makes a change, an admin user, to a product, the search index remains updated. And then I always have this search index to make a very quick search in repeating groups. So you could, for example, add to this search index this product series and then something else, you know. So you could access a field inside the product and then a field and then another field and choose whatever you wanted to include in the index.
Perfect. This should solve so many problems.
It's really, really useful. I mean, it's really important to make sure that it remains updated, which is why I have the API workflow and then also the database trigger here.
I understand the database trigger, but when you go up to the top, what triggers that API workflow again?
Normally, in this case, it's in the admin panel. There is an option, where is it here? There is an option to update products. So you have a list of products and you can update like the product series, you can update the box type, the name, etc. So when that happens, you need to make sure that you're also updating the search index. So you call the API workflow.
So the purpose of that particular use case is for when, for instance, a product name changes, like a product series used to be called Big Box and now it's called Bigger Box. Is that how you do that?
Especially if there are many products that change at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm scheduling it on a list. Yeah.
Awesome. That is, sounds like it's a better answer for me than messing around with all these third-party products and searches when my search, you know, it's not the hugest database on the planet. So I think that it would be great. All right, I'm going to try that. Thank you. Awesome.
Awesome.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you so much, Pablo. And I think before he has to leave, Calum has to leave at the top of the hour. He has a question for you, Pablo. I already told him I didn't know the answer, so.
Let's see, maybe I don't as well.
We don't promise answers, right? So.
You said you used to be a developer before you did Bubble, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I think you might have the answer to this question. So I've got a bit of a UI UX problem. I've got a multi-file uploader in my app. Most of them are very ugly with multi-file uploaders. There's a few that look good. I'm not sure if you've seen the BDK uploader one by Gurav. That's probably the best one, especially as it has cropping and everything like that inside it. The only thing that it doesn't do is it doesn't allow you to trigger the opening of the user's file system on a element click, you have to click on the plugin, and the button that they provide is pretty ugly. There's not really any customization. Is there any way using JavaScript to simulate a click? So I have a group that I want to click on that, but I want it to simulate a click on the plugin so that the user doesn't actually have to see that at all. I see you nodding, Justin. Like, is that something you guys have to do?
You can definitely do that. You can simulate a click. There's some Java. If you just JavaScript on click, I think, or a click event, not click event, DOM click method. Yeah, here we go. I'll share my screen. Pablo, were you going to say the same thing, or am I sharing the right screen? I can never tell.
It's a race to who's going to answer the questions. This is great. Like this partnership is already like upped office hours by like maybe 10 or up to 100 times.
So if you just get the element, so you give it an ID and then you do .click, it'll click it.
The question is whether you can grab that ID from the plugin.
Well, I think you give it an element ID, right, at the bottom. So
but it's not your button, right? You didn't create the button. The button is.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Every plugin element has the ability to add an ID attribute, right?
I don't know.
I think so.
Right. And if you can't grab it, if it grabs the div on the outside, all you do is like grab the child. So like JavaScript.
Yeah, or you could just like group it, probably just put it inside a group and then add the ID to a group.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
As long as you can get the ID, like even if it's not the right thing to click, you just get the ID of it, and then you can eventually list the children, and then maybe it'll be the third child or something like that. And eventually you can get it no matter what.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure Bubble forces them to have the ID attribute bit at the bottom, because there's always a bit at the bottom of any plugin which is the same. So yeah, I can find that. So in terms of the page you were just on before, I'm just checking the plugin now. Yeah, I can add an ID attribute, so that's fine. So it's the first one. Yeah, that one. So I put in the marks, the ID attribute, and then what I do on click of whatever element I want to do, run a bit of JavaScript and run that JavaScript there with the ID element in there.
Right. I would test it first using just the console. So grab that elements ID, whatever you put it in, and then do test it. And if it's not working, it's not bringing up the method, it might be one of the children. So you'll have to grab the children and figure out which child it is. There's no element ID called myCheck, but you get the idea. And then you'll just have to find like which of the children it's the actual button that you need to click inside. So because I know that Bubble likes to assign the ID, especially in plugins, it assigns the ID to the div on the outside, and the div is not what you need to click. It's something underneath the div, right? And so you just need to grab the children, maybe grab the children of the children, and then it'll return an array. I don't know how familiar you are with JavaScript.
I understand. Yeah, I'm not massively, but I understand an array and what a div is. Yeah.
Okay, so it'll probably return an array, and then you just grab like the first element of that array, and then you click on that. So it'll be just one really long line. And so you just do run JavaScript. If you have the toolbox plugin, you do run JavaScript and then just run that one line when you need to, based off of whatever event.
Okay, so if it is within a child container, then what does I need to do that's different to if it's just a div?
So like, for example, let me grab this. I'll inspect this. So this is called, let me give this an ID. Come on. ID equals, what was it? myCheck, sure, myCheck. Okay, so this div class has, now has the ID, but what I really want, let's say I want this H3 example. I want to click that element. So what I would do is in the console, I would look for myCheck. I would find the children. I believe it's children. Maybe it's not a function. Yeah, there we go. And then it lists the children as an array. And so I would do children dot, or sorry, not dot, and then grab the first element of that array, an H3 example, and then I do click. And then it should click the element. Here, nothing happens because it's an H3 element.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Got you. So it's either just clicking on the div, or it's identifying that there's a child element there and listing which level that child element's at to click on it. Okay, awesome. That's brilliant. I'll give it a go. I'm sure I will get stuck somewhere, but that will probably be for office hours on Friday.
And you can always watch the replay on YouTube.
Definitely not remember all of that.
Subscribe, click the like button, make sure those notifications are turned on.
I have like 4 calls today, like back to back.
Oh, sales calls for AirDev?
Yeah, like literally 4 back to back.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, enjoy.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to jump off, but thanks very much, guys, and yeah, great to have you.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for attending. And not least, last but not least in our roundabout, Brittany, it's your turn, and we've got to get you ready for a product launch on Friday.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Brittany was the last to join, but she's going to be the first to launch her product from office hours. So
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Hopefully it's
impressive.
ready. So yesterday, after we went over a lot of stuff, I started trying to implement it on the app and our website more so. And I've been having an issue. I want to share. Let me get to the page first. I'm sorry, I was working on something.
no worries.
Let's see. Settings. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so wait, how do I get so we worked on making an option set for the subscription types. Well, I don't know if I need to explain what my app is to I'm sorry, I forgot you guys' name.
It's a two-sided marketplace. So that's Pablo and Justin and I all understand two-sided marketplaces. So
okay.
And it's a gig marketplace specifically.
Okay.
Right. So yesterday after we made the option set for the drop down to show these items, something went well. I know what went wrong. So let's go here because I added on the option set to add a work order. So with the subscriptions, they only have a certain amount of work orders. So when their work order is, when they have used all their work orders for that month, I have an option for them to purchase an extra work order for 99 cents just to add on to that month. So I was trying to I'd rather just show you guys. I'm gonna run as a one of the users so I can explain.
Sure. Do not feel pressured.
So I was trying to dynamically view the current plan that the person is on, but it's supposed to show the information here, but it only shows when I go here and actually click it. Like it doesn't show if the page is loaded and the information is already in the box there. That's one issue. And then because I added on the work order add-on, like if you add on a work order for the month, it will try to change the plan itself and not just add on an order. Like, let me see if I make a work order. I think I fixed that. Yeah, so.
Gotcha. So I think I understand. So let's go to the workflows for the, well, let's solve the first problem, displaying the data.
Okay.
So on page load, you could probably populate that section with a reference to the current user's subscriptions information.
Okay.
And then you can add,
So I want
actually, maybe not on page load. So go ahead and delete that and then just go back to the section in the design. There we go. So in that group itself, let's make the data source to start, like the type of content would be a subscription type from your option sets. And then the data source, you have to set the, I would set the type of content first personally. So would be subscription types options.
Yeah.
And then the data source would be current user's subscription type.
This thing is acting. Okay.
All right, awesome. So now you have that set. So it's going to be based on, it'll pre-populate when you load the page. But now what we want to do is do a workflow, go to the workflows and then click to add it. What's wrong?
My daughter's crying.
Oh, you hear it because you're her mom. I don't even notice.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys could hear her crying, but okay. You said add a...
So go in with elements, or we want to do when an input is changed. So that might be a do when condition is true, or it might be under elements. I forget. When an input's value is changed. So under elements, input's value is changed up at the top. There you go. So now when they change the drop down value, so the element is going to be that drop down. When that changes, now you want to click to add an action. And you want to send data. So under element actions, you want to display data. And you want to display the in the element, whatever that.
Oh, I have to go back and figure out. But see, there's multiple different ones.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna need to refactor that. So we should probably refactor that so that it just is one group, with the data source being the current user's subscription type. That way we don't have to mess with sending data to different things.
Okay, so I would basically, so let's see, how do I ever since, so I paid for domain name and I changed all of that, and ever since then it keeps, every time I click something, it's probably my computer, but it just
might
goes to a different page.
Every time you click something, it goes to a different page. That sounds like it might be an extension issue. Like there might be an extension on your page or something that's doing that.
Okay. Well, I'll just have to work through it right now. Okay, so basically what we were about to do was explain, make this group the same group.
So I think that is, so go into the group around the currently selected element. Nope, that one, yeah. So that's the one that you're going to change. So right now that's called, that group is called Platinum Monthly. Just change it to say, change the name to say group user or group subscription type. And then go back to the workflow where we were. And then the data to display is going to be that drop downs value. This drop down, yep, it's value. And then that reference will change what's shown in that group. You just have to change all what's in that group to be dynamic instead of static.
Right. Okay. Alrighty.
So that takes care of the first issue. The second issue was you were saying when you were clicking the button to add on, it was changing the
Right.
user's subscription, and you didn't want that. You just wanted to charge them 99 cents
Right.
and add one to their plan for that month. Right. Okay. So there's two different ways I can think of to do that. One is to, instead of referencing the number on the plan, to actually create a field that gets populated each month when the card is charged, to add a certain number to it.
Okay.
And then you would be comparing, because yesterday we compared it to the plan instead of actually giving the user a certain number from the plan.
Right.
Right. So if we change that structure a little bit, and instead have a field that's just tracking the number of work orders that the person has less. This is nice actually, because if you ever wanted them to be able to carry over work orders,
Right.
they could, because you could just add a certain number every month, and then you could subtract as you need to. So that changes the structure a little bit. The other thing we could do is we could just create an add-on structure. So you could compare it to the subscription for the subscription. And then if they have any extras that they've bought, you could just go ahead and add it at the time.
Okay. I think I want to go with the first option, because in the future I may allow, for the work orders to roll over, I guess.
To roll over. Okay. All right. So in that case, on the, I guess on the user at this point, we can add a field, work order credits, or you already have one called work order add-ons.
Hold on. Did I put that on here? Oh yeah, I did last. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know that I would do a separate data type for that, or maybe I would. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts, Pablo, on that?
So I
No,
think,
not sure. Like I'm still learning about the
Okay.
app, so I don't
Got
wanna
it. Sure.
do
I
that
think
opinion yet.
so this real quick, I want to make sure. So this, where I have it here, I think that's referring to the
that's
option
the
set.
option set. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I would go ahead and delete that
Okay.
field. And then I would add a field called,
It's going so slow.
yeah,
Okay.
it's you're sharing your screen. It's like it's Wednesday. I'm so tired.
Right. And then I didn't go to sleep until like 2 a.m. yesterday, trying to
Trying to get
Yeah.
this done.
Yeah.
I gotcha. I feel you. Okay, so I would just call this work order credits, and then it would be of type number.
Okay.
And then something else that we didn't do is we didn't structure, and we would have to do a we'd probably have to do a webhook from Stripe back into your bubble to let you know when a member's subscription successfully renews,
Mhm.
because that's when you would be adding the credits, the number to that credit field. So in the first place, what we can do is go back to where they subscribe.
Okay. All right, you want to go to the settings, yeah, not when they
No,
first sign up.
that's fine, because that's where they first subscribe, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so when they first subscribe, you're gonna add however many credits, so 10 credits
Okay.
for the gold members to that field.
So let's see.
depending on whether they signed up monthly or annually. Because if they sign up annually, then it's probably 120 credits.
Right. Right. I didn't think of it that way. I was thinking it would probably, well, could you limit if you just put in 120, could you limit the credits per month?
Yeah, well, you could just set a workflow to add 10 more each month.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we did that yesterday, I'm still trying to learn how, remember, I would make a.
Are you adding the credits when they subscribe?
Yes. Do I
Yeah, I'm thinking we need a way to verify the subscription was successful before we do that.
So probably when you have another one, right? When the button subscribe is clicked. So because here you're showing the pop-ups.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're showing the
Right.
pop-ups here.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. So this, do I add it in here? It's going to be a new
Yeah, so I would make changes to thing, and then the current user, and then I would probably do some sort of condition on it that only when step 1 is successful somehow.
Okay.
So the results of step 1.
Starting date. Well,
probably status.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so.
Wait,
succeeded is usually for Stripe.
Okay, I was gonna see if I have it.
But we can check and see if that's true or not. I know it's succeeded for CEED. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna check.
Okay. And I want to change the work order. Where is
credits?
Yeah.
And then this user, work order credits. And then plus. This user's subscription type. Work orders allowed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Pablo's double checking our logic for the condition.
Okay.
Thank you, Pablo. And then
You're welcome.
So question, before we move on, just making sure I understand. So this user's work order credits, that would be the entire thing, like even if they had add-ons, right?
Yep.
And okay, plus okay.
So if they've been if they start out paying $1 per work order or something like that, like if they're on the basic on the free plan and they get like 3 per month, and then they start adding to that, like one at a time, this would be in addition to that.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Alrighty. So I would actually have to do this on the rest of these buttons as well. I'm just gonna paste.
It's a good question. We could ask Pablo. Pablo, I haven't used Stripe subscriptions very often, and only for examples, not in real life. Is there a way to refer to them dynamically, or do you have to do them separately?
What do you mean? Like
So we go to the step 1, Brittany. So when you're selecting which Stripe plan that you're subscribing them to, you have multiple different ones to choose from there, but there's no way, like, I guess you just have to make individual.
Oh no, you have an option over there that says dynamically specify plan.
Oh, there we go. That's what I was.
Okay.
I wasn't reading. That was what it is.
So I want to do that on this one since
Your thinking was correct because you were.
I was like, this is so inelegant. Like, there's got to be a better way.
Okay. So dynamically specify. And it will be pulling the stripe.
So we could add to your Stripe option set, we could add a text attribute called Stripe plan name.
Okay. Is that in Stripe or on the data option?
So
set?
on your option sets,
Okay.
and you would go into Stripe and you could pull the Stripe plan name. So
Okay.
And in
Well, for-
Stripe, actually, what they mean for name in Bubble is actually the Stripe plan ID. So it's
Mhm.
gonna look like a number instead of the name. So
Yep.
I'm gonna look for an example in one of my apps, and I'll show you.
Like this right here.
Yep, that's
Okay.
it. I think that's it.
So
Do you want to,
It's the.
does she have it right?
it's
Or is
gonna
it
be
something else?
It's gonna be the price ID. Yeah.
okay, right here.
That one.
These.
Okay,
So this is
so that's for the gold monthly.
okay.
Okay, so let's go back to Bubble
Oh.
and under your
Oh,
subscription types. So subscription types, create a new attribute and call it Stripe price plan. And then make it text.
Oh.
And now if you go to gold monthly, modify attributes, you can paste that Stripe plan in there.
Cool. Okay.
And now in your workflows, clear that out. You can right click and clear expression. And you can say current users, subscription type,
So
Stripe price plan.
and I found how I'm doing it, and I'm using status is active.
Oh,
Active. Okay,
Active.
got it. So we have to go back and change that from
Oh,
succeeding
that
to active.
was here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember the first time I was setting this up, like it took me a while to realize what they meant for name. It was actually the price ID, you know, and a lot of debugging, and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just go through and this isn't the platinum monthly. I can probably do that later. I don't want to take up too much
And,
time. We'll move on.
Remember that you will have some price, like the price plan ID in the development plan will be different from the one in the live one. So you will need to, when you are transferring the database from the development to the live part, don't transfer the Stripe subscription plans, because the price ID will be different.
Okay,
So
thank you.
that's important.
There's so many things I have to know about switching to the
Bubble.
live version and making sure I have the right, codes for the live version.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
And
just remember that the most important thing is you're getting users to sign up for the plan, because even if mistakes are happening, you can go back and fix the mistakes, right? So you're going to an event and you're getting users to sign up, and then you can always make it right via email.
Right.
And you can check using the Stripe dashboard, because it's like really good for testing what's going on in your app, both in the developers and in the live version.
Right. Okay. So basically, once I change all the correct plan IDs or whatever, it should automatically, I can honestly delete the other ones, and then this should come up with the count to
Automatically.
right. Okay, thanks.
Yep. It'll be a lot easier when you need to update things too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Alrighty. Whoever has questions next can go. I do have more questions, but
Sure.
um,
Does anyone else have any questions? Thomas or Jay? Kim, you could ask bubble questions too, but you never seem to have any bubble questions to ask.
Nope.
I'm still working my thing out.
You're
So,
still suffering alone.
yeah, it's not too big of a deal. I'm just trying to understand the chain link between parent and child with the what you were telling me about parent group canvas.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. Jay, you got anything else?
Now I am busy adding a search index field to everything.
We give them homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry for that, Jay.
Oh, no, I'm thrilled.
That's
If it
good.
makes it work, I'm just going to be so happy. Way easier than having to read through a bunch of documentation, mess with APIs, add additional cost. No
And it's
complaints.
really, really flexible. That's what I like. It's like really flexible and quite simple. I mean, so yeah.
Perfect. All right, Brittany, it's all you.
okay. Let me look over my list again. Okay, so I'm gonna share. This is on a different area here. So we were working on this thing is going so slow. Okay. With when a freelancer has completed an order, it will go to I have it send in a message. I did not, that's the other thing, sorry. It's a lot going on in my head. So I have a message going to, let's see, hold on, it's easier for me to do it this way. I have to find it. So when they request a completion, it is going so slow. Okay. I have it send in an email on the front end. I know we talked about the back end for reminders. So once it's requested for approval, I have it send in an email to the, I don't know if this is set up right, so that's what I'm asking. Parent groups, work orders, creators email. So it's to the creator of the work order.
The creator of the work order is the person who's paying for it, right?
Right.
Okay.
So telling them that they have a pending completion and that, you know, whatever, they have 48 hours to approve it. And then I also have an email going to the parent groups accepted by email, which is the freelancer. I'm guessing. An email telling them not to take any further action until it has been approved. Now on the back end, I did not get the chance to do that email, but it would basically be just the same thing, correct? If I wanted to send like a reminder email if they haven't
Yep, you would just
responded.
schedule it at the same time. You would schedule the API workflow in the same workflow that you're in right now. You would schedule the API workflow to run when you want it to run. So like if you wanted it to run, so you're giving them 2 days, so you want to give them a reminder. So you probably want to give them a reminder every 12 hours since it's just 2 days. So you would schedule it to run current date and time plus 12 hours.
Okay.
And then the recursive workflow that we made yesterday, you would switch it from 1 day to being 12 hours instead.
Okay.
And that way that gives them like 2 or 3 reminders before time's up.
Right.
And just make sure to to limit it to like just 4 times, so that you don't keep sending the emails after the
Right.
fourth
And in this case, what we do is if you go to step 2, it's oh, I know, on the API workflow itself, the condition is only when the order status is still pending. So you'll have to create the pending. There you go,
Yeah,
which you did. And then you'll also have to schedule a workflow that automatically changes it to approved after the 48 hours. And that's what will stop this workflow from running over and over again.
So that will be on the front end workflow, correct? To schedule.
Yep.
Oh.
So, well, you have to, so wait, before you leave this one, go to step 2. And where it says current date and time, change that to plus hours. And make it 12 instead of 1. There you go.
Okay.
And then now that's set. So then now we need to make a new, you can delete the recurring event and the trigger event that I created last night. Those were just for examples. And then go ahead and create a new backend workflow. And it'll be an API workflow. And then name it like auto approve. Let you do that, or is it going to give you another issue when you click out of there? It'll let you do it. Okay. All right. So for that one, go ahead and click in there again in the API workflow. The parameter is going to be a work order. Nope, just add a parameter.
Oh, got you.
And then of type work order.
That didn't work. Oh, here we go.
Okay, and then add an action, make changes to a thing. And it'll be the work order, and you'll change the status. And then whatever you want to have happen when you change that status, you can do it in this workflow as well.
Okay.
So you would change, this would be auto approving, so you would, or completed. Yeah. And now what we do is we schedule those 2 different workflows from the front end.
What page was that?
Completed work orders, or
I think it's this one. Yeah. Yes. Well, this is so I need to show you this as well, because this is where it will get approved or declined. So I don't know if that's what that's not where I need to be. I need to be on.
you need to go where the freelancer is submitting it as complete.
Right. Okay. I have so many. I don't know. Request completion. I can't remember the name of the button. Okay.
Okay, and so click there to add an action. And then it'll custom events at the bottom and schedule an API workflow. And it's current date and time plus 48 hours or plus 2 days, whichever you prefer.
Do I need to do the parent group's work order?
No,
Because it will depend.
you're scheduling it 48 hours from now. So.
Okay.
And then my question is if they reject it, what is the status on it?
I was just gonna keep it as pending, but then that wouldn't work because it would get automatically approved.
Right.
So I need to make
Like a
I
rejected
guess
status.
revisions or something. Yeah. So let me
Yay, you're using option sets. Isn't that easier?
yeah, I know, and I understand it. Like that's the best thing. Okay, so okay. Now, oh.
All right.
So,
And then the work order would be the results of step 3 or step 4, either one, I think.
okay.
Is step 4 making changes to what's done in step 3?
So it's the uploads.
Oh, this is creating a completed work order. I see. You still have 2 separate work order things in your database. We're going to refactor that too eventually. But for right now, it's step 4 is the one you wanted to send
Okay.
in through the workflow.
Okay.
Okay. And then we need to tie up a loose end in the back end. We need to not forget about. But before we do that, let's go click to add an action and schedule the other API workflow. And it'll be the reminder email and current date and time plus 12 hours.
That would
Yep,
be
result of step 4. Okay, and then now let's go into the backend workflows again. And we just need to make sure that we have the auto approve only runs if it's still pending. So if the work order status is pending. There you go.
There we go. Okay.
Yep, and we need to make if they don't approve it, if they reject it, then we need to set the status to revisions. So
Okay. And that will be in the front or
that would be in the front end, but where the work order owner is clicking to approve or not approve.
okay. So that will be on here. And approve or decline. No, not that one. It would be the decline button. So I don't have it actually doing anything just yet, but going to the freelancer, hold on, data to send freelancers accepted by. Oh, I wasn't finished yet because when they clicked the decline button, I wanted it to be like a pop-up message that they could actually type in and give instructions on what they wanted them to do. So I was still working on that part.
Yep, but before that, you can just go ahead and add an action to make changes to the work order.
Okay.
And change that status. That way, if they bump up against that 48-hour deadline, it doesn't automatically approve it.
Okay, so make changes to parent group's work order. And I will want to change the status to revision.
Perfect.
Okay. Alrighty.
You're getting there.
Yeah, I'm understanding. I'm getting there slowly.
You're so fast. Like it's been really impressive watching you,
Yeah.
Brittany. So I just stay on after we're done for a
Okay.
little bit, Brittany.
Okay.
We have time left.
Yep, we have a few minutes. I do have to go because I have a meeting right at the top of the hour, but
Yeah.
I am trying to turn a bunch of navigations into database driven navigation, as opposed to designing them and having them all on each page.
okay.
So far, so good. I mean, they look good. They're responsive. Buttons display or are hidden as they ought to be. But the problem or the confusion I have now is about custom states. So normally you click on a button like show your flowers, and then it sets a custom state, and then you see that group. Do I have to go into the reusable and set those conditions on each button, just like I would have if they were on the page, or is there a better way?
Can you share your screen?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe Brittany, if you stop sharing.
Can you see yet?
Yep.
Here's the widget. So for instance, this button on one page, it may say, show your vegetables, and it may say show your flowers or whatever. So there's 16 different things that could happen from this button. And I feel like if I just do custom states in the reusable, that I'm not really having improved, the ease of administration from having it the way it was before, maybe even made it harder.
Okay. Show me on the page, like what you're trying, like the states and stuff. And then the other question, of course, would be, do you want those states to persist? Like, do you want the selections to persist like through a refresh of the screen or whatever?
No, because then they don't need to.
Okay.
I got halfway through it and I was like, what am I doing? I better stop. So I'm trying to remember what pages I put them on.
Okay.
So this one, as you can see, the buttons are all hidden because there's nothing here yet. It's just one thing. So there's no button. So this one's a no-brainer. But then when I got to the more complicated ones that had buttons, that's when I hit up against a wall and I cut it out. So they all look kind of like this.
Okay. So, but each button is setting a state, and based on the states, you're hiding showing things on the page. Is that right?
Based on, yes, that's true.
Okay. And your question is there any way to simplify it? Or is your question, what's the purpose of putting this in a reusable if I still have to do all of these different conditions?
Yeah, can I ask both?
Yeah, you can. Okay. So, unless Pablo can think of something else, like if you have a certain combination of elements that you want to show on the screen based on the clicks of different buttons, and it's not important to persist beyond a page refresh, then custom states are fine. But yeah, you would have to define that. You might be able to simplify like what you're doing. Like if you kind of step back and kind of diagram it out, you might be able to make simplifications to what you're doing, but essentially each button click is going to change a state, which is going to have an effect on the page. So, and you're not going to get around that by using reusables. And then the question about the reusables and whether it's better to have a reusable, there are multiple advantages to using reusables on the page that don't have to do with simplifying the workflows. It actually has to do with pulling the workflows out of the page load itself, because it makes page loading faster. And it'll make your editor faster.
Well, is there any way to like put those custom states, this is going to sound like of course not, but if I had a data type that just had 2 text fields, one of which was the name of the custom state.
Yes, you could do that. You could abstract your state names for sure.
And
And
then
put
I
them
could
in a
have,
database. Yeah, you could make
and
it a
then I could have the
database.
condition, like if I name them correctly, like if page name is in the custom
Like
type.
I might call it page configuration,
Mhm.
right? And then, yeah, you could do that.
Next week or later this week, can we look into that a little deeper?
Yeah.
If I haven't made progress by then, which I kind of think I won't, because I'm, busy
'Cause
fixing all the searches.
Pablo gave you tons of homework.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. Good homework.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
No, but
That's awesome.
I like it. It's an interesting debate, and I was just gonna say that I have nothing to add. I mean, I was gonna say the same that Tonya said. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
But one unsolicited piece of advice is you can open the developer tools by clicking F12 instead of going double click, and then so just by clicking that, because I use them a lot as well whenever I want to check something, and it's just faster. So
Way faster. All right, useful. Thank you.
I don't think there's anything such as like unsolicited
No.
advice here. I think that just by joining, we're soliciting all of the advice. It's my
Yes.
impression.
that we can
True.
get. Yeah.
And Calum's back. Calum, did you have another question?
I couldn't get the JS thing working. The example one that I found was on hover. Am I okay to ask and go through this now?
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
So should I just share my screen and just do it that way?
Yep.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so basically at the moment, the media uploader is a separate floating group. And here's the BDK native one. So this is what I want to click. Set the ID attribute to 1, 2, 3, 4, just to make it easy. And then we want to trigger it when we click on add images and video. Started it workflow. I've got both of them in here at the moment. So the existing, oh, no, I haven't. It was element, like plugins, and then run JavaScript. And no, that was what was it called again?
DOM. DOM.
That's
Yeah.
This is the one I had. So was this the right one? Because this was on mouse over. Does that still work?
So you need to do document.getElementById, then put the correct ID and then click.
Okay, so if I copy that, stick it in
So
there. So what do I need to change in here?
So you don't need to get, you just get the document.getElementById. So only the part that is under the function. Yeah.
So all of that, delete.
You can delete it. Yeah. You can also delete the first brackets, like the brackets.
Okay, and that one.
And then remove everything after click.
I mean, that's just general anyway. Cool. And
So now you need to change. Oh no, but keep that. Keep what you just removed.
Keep the parentheses and the colon.
Well, this is going bad then.
No. Just control.
No, I know. I couldn't undo it.
Okay.
So we get, and then we want to delete up to there.
Yeah.
And then this is that and that. So that's all we need, yeah?
Yep.
And then that one needs to be 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
And that's it.
But now, like, what do you want to achieve right now? Because right now you're saying it. What you're saying is that when you're clicking the group, you're clicking it again. Oh no,
Well,
no,
he's
because
clicking
it's
something
different.
else.
It's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
The plugin,
Perfect.
yeah, the plugin to what I'm clicking. So let me remove that one. Let me stop sharing because sharing always slows down my load.
What was that I was just talking about? Reusables and speeding up the editor and the page load.
I think that's probably the main.
I've given Calum so many conflicting opinions on what he should do to speed up his app that he's tired of hearing it.
Do you remember my app the first time where I had like 8 different social media feeds? I managed to get down to one that just changes the data source. I was happy with.
That's where we all start, Calum. That's where I started.
No, I started with not knowing custom states and showing and hiding every single element on the page. That went badly. Yeah, right, it's loading. Right, here we go. Share my screen. Also, by the way, Tonya, thank you very much for posting on One Life and saying how excited you are about CoCreative NoCode becoming Pro NoCode.
Yes, of course. He's my social media manager.
Commented, your profile's looking fantastic. Loving it, by the way. Anyway,
Hello.
And he scraped the oldest picture of me. It's hilarious.
I just do. That's what comes up on Google
I
Images.
know, it's fine. It could be worse. You could have pulled up my wedding picture.
That's not very professional for work. So I
know the doomed marriage that's still on Google.
All right, let's see if this works. So click on that. No, nothing's happening. So I'm assuming that means it's in the child element.
That's weird. Can you just do it on without the console, the developer tools open?
What, just as a normal web page?
Yep.
I don't know is the answer. I can try, but it's going to look terrible. Okay, that's all right. Okay, so it's showing there's something there to click. So it's recognizing the workflow, but yeah, nothing's happening.
I'm thinking we might need to do something else. We might need to use the JavaScript to Bubble element. I need to run today because it's at 8:40. I need to go.
Yeah, he's got to go.
But I will look into it. Okay, I will try to replicate this exact case scenario for the next office hours. I won't be here on Friday, but if I manage to solve it before, I will just send it to Tonya, and otherwise it will be on Monday.
No, that's cool. I asked Gaurav because he said, that there's just a line of JavaScript you can use to trigger it.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah.
But he didn't tell me which line it was, so I'm still waiting for him to get back to me. But yeah, I mean, if he gets back to me before, I'll share it on Friday. But yeah, if you find out before, that'd be great if I could. Yeah, if you could let me know.
Okay. Awesome.
And I actually have to run too, so I think we'll go ahead and wrap up office hours for today. We're going to be back tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. For more office hours. If you'd like to join for a complimentary session, just go ahead and email us at team@CoCreativeNoCode.com and we'll get you some credentials. We'd love to meet you. And thank you so much, Pablo, for being here. And also Justin, super excited to see where Pro NoCode goes. And thank you to our members, Calum, Jay, Brittany, and Thomas for being here as well. And to Kim, as always, for keeping track of what we're talking about, all those keywords. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.